All right, it's 11 o'clock. Let's begin our lesson. The first thing that I want to do is introduce you to our special guest because he might not stay for the entire lesson. His name is Monty, and he is one of the little fluffy kittens that we are fostering at the moment. But because there aren't many pet shops open at the moment, he might be staying with us for quite a long time. But this is Monty. And he is a very, very shy, very fluffy, cute boy. And he likes to just sit like this and be held. That's his happy thing. So that's Monty. There you go. All right, everyone, let's begin. What we're going to do today is a few things. I'm just going to give him back to Imogen. A few things. Oh, he's so warm.
I'll be right
back. Okay, so we're going to do a few things. We're going to go over, just to recap, we're going to go over final silent E very quickly because I want to make sure that you all understand the function of E at the end of a word. So we'll do that quickly. I know that you probably know all of this. It's not a huge surprise, and I did do a whole webinar on this previously before I started the Spelling for Life webinars, but we need to make sure there's no gaps. We need to make sure there's no gaps. So we're going to do that quickly. Then we're going to look at counting syllables. It's a really important thing to be able to do, to count syllables. And once we can do all of that, then we can launch in next week to the big time stuff. There are some very complicated things coming up on Monday, but you need to know how to count syllables, and you also need to know the first three jobs of final silent E. So that's what we're going to do today. All right. Very quickly, if you have the letter E at the end of a word, it does not represent a sound, it represents a signal. If we have all these words, can, pet, pin, hop, and cut, if I add final silent E, I can convert the word can to cane, the word pet to Pete, which is short for Peter, that's why I've got a capital letter there. I can get the word pin to now say pine. Just by adding final silent E, I can turn it into a completely different word. Hop to hope and cut to cute. So final silent E makes a vowel say its name, even if it has to jump over a consonant to do it. That's final silent E, job one. You may know it by lots of different names, such as Ninja E, Magic E, Bossy E. And some of you have even been taught that it's a split digraph. I'll let you into a secret. It's not. There's no such thing. But anyway, final silent E, job one, makes a vowel say its name, even if it has to jump over a consonant to do it. So that's the first thing. Keeping an eye on the chats there, Bubs? Mm-hmm. Yep, we're keeping it positive. All right, so next thing. That was job one. Any questions about job one, final silent E? I think you all know this one, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Great. All right, going to share my screen with you because job two is where we're off to next. All right, final silent E, job two. We've got the word dance. Now, if I took away the final silent E, if it went away, that word I would have to pronounce in a different way because final silent E makes us pronounce C, S. So if I took away the final silent E, that signal would no longer be there, and that word would be dank. So dance and large, if I took away final silent E again, that word would be larg, because final silent E is a signal for us to say J at the end of a word. So job two is final silent E makes C say S, and it makes G say J at the end. I actually put a notice on that door saying don't knock. Amazing. And somebody has still knocked. Anyway, all right. It was a delivery. My apologies. Just to recap, final silent E, job two, makes C say S and G say J at the end of words. If I took away those final silent E's, those letters would revert to K and G. Easy peasy. Something else you should know. Final silent E can actually create two signals at once. It can make C say S, like in the word race, and G say J, like in the word rage. But also, final silent E is making that A say its name. And it's making that A say its name. If I took away the signal from race, the word would be rack. If I took away the final silent E signal from rage, the word would be rag. So final silent E can do two jobs at once. It can provide two signals. That's something else you should know about it. Then we've got a third function of E at the end of words. If you have come to the illegal letters or the exceptions word stories, excuse me, word stories webinars, you will know that you cannot have a word that ends with the letter U. So final silent E stops the word ending with a U or a V. That's why due, as in when is the bus due, has an E at the end. That's why give has an E at the end. You could spell give, G-I-V. It would still say G-I-V. But our rules, the rules of English spelling, dictate that you cannot have V at the end of a word. So final silent E stops words from ending with illegal letters. That's the other thing that it does. And if you look down the column of the illegal letters, you'll see that the solution to every illegal letter problem is final silent E. So that's its third job, third thing that it does. It's the third function of word final E. Now, we've got the word house and we've got the word R. And as you can see, they've both got final silent E on them. So now I want you to think about the word house and the word R and tell me, what's the function of E here? What's it doing? What is E doing in this word? House and R. What's E doing? Is it changing the vowel? Is final silent E stopping the word from ending with an illegal letter? Is final silent E altering the sound of the consonant before it? It's not doing any of those things, is it? And as I think the amazing Archer has just said, it's doing nothing at all. Final silent E in R and house is actually not doing anything. There was a point in history where that was a signal, but our pronunciation is different of these words now, and it no longer signals anything. So what you do have to know is that sometimes final silent E has no job at all. And where do you think those words come from? What kind of words are they, do you think? What's their story? Because there's always a story. What is the group of words that final silent E sometimes isn't providing a signal anymore? Can anyone give me an answer? Which ones do you think they are? Nothing at all. Very good, Joshua. Nothing at all. Not there. Nice one, Josh. All right. Old. You're right. These are Old English words. You guys are amazing. Very good. Sophie says to stop it looking weird. Well, it's funny you should say that, Sophie, sorry. It's funny you should say that, Sophie, because actually, oh, I thought a word couldn't end in S unless it was a plural. Yes, it is. They're definitely in words like laps and laps, like he did lots of laps of the sports ground, or I don't want my membership to lapse. The final silent E is providing that this is not a plural signal. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. 1,000 years ago, the E would have been pronounced. Yes, it's a possibility, or it would have been providing a signal, but no more. And those are the old words. That's what they do. That's what they do. So there you go. All right, so I'm going to show you the next bit that we're going to be doing on Monday. Here we go. Now, can I ask, there's a few students here, there's a few people who are participating who are, because I keep my eye on chat and I try to answer questions as they go along. Can you not type gobbledygook into chat? Can you just use it to answer or ask questions or chat? But all the nonsense is off-putting, so I'm going to ask you to not do that anymore. All right, thank you. Okay, here we go. Am I still sharing? No, I'm not. So last thing that I'm going to share with you is what's happening on Monday. On Monday, we are lifting off into a much, much higher level, much higher level. We're going to look at final silent E, job 4, the 4th thing that it does. And as Sophie mentioned, sometimes words need a final silent E because they don't look right if they don't have a vowel in their final syllable. And she's quite right. And final silent E, job 4, does that. But there's so much more with final silent E, job 4. We're getting into some really big linguistics with this. So I want you to be prepared. So if you are coming to join me on Monday, and you're not feeling that sure about the other jobs of final silent E, you could re-watch the final silent E webinar that I did before doing the Spelling for Life lessons. They're all on my website, so have a go at that. The other thing that you need to be able to do is count syllables, and you need to be able to count syllables really well. So now I'm going to give you a technique that never fails. Are you ready? Counting syllables. Here we go. What I want you to understand is what a syllable is in the first place. Give me some theories, folks. What's your definition of syllable? What do I even mean when I say syllable? What's a syllable? Ozzy's got his hand up. Shall we? Ooh, beats in a word, the Nichols family. Shall we get Ozzy to give us a syllable definition? You want to do that, Oz? I'd be very, very happy to hear from you. Somebody's saying chunk in a word. Oh, Ozzy went. Oh, no, Ozzy's there. Yep. Unmute Ozzy. All right, Oz, you're up. What's a syllable?
A syllable is a part of the word. A syllable is a part of the word that's like sort of what makes the words like it like I forgot.
You're right. You know when you said like that, it's the vowel. It is a vowel sound in a word. So it's when you're opening your mouth to let a vowel sound out, that's when you have a syllable. Syllables are just vowels. That's all they are. So you're completely correct, Oz, right? Maxie, did you have something that you wanted to say on syllables? Could you unmute Maximilian, please?
So syllables, syllables, in there, in a long word.
Mm-hmm.
Every syllable, like a word, like a really long word, it has multiple syllables. It can't just have one vowel, but it can't have like one vowel. 0 vowels in one syllable. It has to have one at least.
Absolutely. Where did you learn that information? That was amazing. Who taught you that?
I'm a grade 3.
Wow, that is so impressive. You're right. Big long words are just multi-syllables, aren't they? They are just a bunch of syllables put together. You're quite right. You can't, and as you said as well, you cannot have a word without a vowel in it. It's got to have at least one vowel. Every word is at least one syllable, and that one syllable is a vowel sound. Otherwise, we would be living in a world without vowels. And have you seen the webinar on the difference between vowels and consonants?
Yeah.
You've got to have vowels.
So it's like vowels. So like this is an example silent. So there's an I in sigh, and then E in lint.
That's exactly right. Perfect. You have perfect understanding of this. Really good. All right. Now, I'm going to give you some more information about that too. Syllables are just vowels. So, yep, syllables are just vowels. So Max can go. Yep. They're just vowels, and they have consonants clustered around them in different ways. That's what syllables are. To make a syllable, you have to open the machine that makes sounds. You have to have an open vocal tract, it's called. So from your lungs all the way up to your lips, it has to be open. There can't be anything getting in the way. That's what creates a syllable. You can have consonants in there, but you've got to have at least one vowel. So if you're counting syllables, then what you need to do is you need to count the impulses of your voice. You need to count every time your voice makes a vowel sound, like that. And you can do that with this technique. I'll show you what I mean. It's called zipped lips, and it works no matter what, because there's all sorts of, you can have lots and lots of different ways of counting syllables, right? I'm sure at school you've had heaps of teaching about how to count a syllable. For instance, sometimes people do clapping, you know, for the word tiger, tiger, and that's lovely. Or some people do chin drops. Why do you think you do chin drops to count syllables? Why do you do chin drops to count syllables? Well, that's because every time you do, every time your mouth opens for a vowel to come out, your chin drops down slightly. These are all fairly good ways of counting syllables, but I'm going to give you one that never fails. Are you ready? Here we go. And I've got a question there from Grace and Hannah. How many syllables does dance have? Well, you're going to find out because you're going to count it yourself. You are going to get really, really good at this, okay? So we're going to take the word tiger. Everybody say out loud. I'm not going to unmute your mic, but everybody say out loud, tiger, go. I think I heard the word tiger all over the world there. Tiger, say it out loud. Then pretend that you've got a zip on your lips there and you've zipped your lips together like this. Say tiger again, but this time the air's going to come out of your nose. Ready? Now, to say tiger, the air came out of my nose in 2 beats like this. Yep. And I counted by putting my fingers up like that. I know, without even having to remember what I did there, I know that there were 2 syllables in the word tiger. So this is the zip lip technique, and it never fails. It never fails, because I do sometimes ask children to count syllables and instead they count the sounds in words, and it's really hard for them. So zipped lips is really good. We're going to do this with 5 animals. Are you ready? 5 animals. Animal number 1, we're going to count how many syllables in the word giraffe. Say it, giraffe. You have to say it out loud first. Then zip your lips. Count. How many was that? Who got 2? Good, good, good. Giraffe. Every time you made a vowel sound, your voice impulsed, and that gives you an accurate syllable score. All right, next word, dragon. Say it out loud. Zip. Now say it and count. And you've got to say it normally. Dragon. That's 2 again. Excellent work. Next word, next animal. We're on animal number 3. And a dragon's an animal. Animal number 3, elephant. Say it out loud. Elephant. Zip. Did you do it? Yeah.
We have a question.
Yes, Linda. Linda said, is also counting the vowels in a word an indication of how many syllables? Yes, it is. When you're going from print to speech, right now we're going from speech to print. But yes, when you're going from print, you can count the vowels in a word. There are some rules about that. For instance, you don't count E unless it is job number 4, a final silent E, which we're coming to. All right, so who got 3 for elephant? Elephant. Excellent. Animal number 4, you ready? Cat. Say it out loud. Zip. Count. Did you do it? Cat. 1 syllable. So going back to your question, there was a question here, how many syllables in dance? Yep, How many syllables in dance? Who was it that asked that question? It's like way back here. All you have to do is say it out loud, dance, and then zip. How many syllables in dance? Correct, it's 1. Beautiful work. Really, really, really good. Last animal. You ready? Animal number 5. Here we go. Hippopotamus. Say it out loud. Hippopotamus. Zip. Seeing some answers come up. Really good. Let's count them together. Are we ready? Hippopotamus. It's hard to count. 5 syllables in that word. Everyone got 5. Just about everyone got 5. Really good work. So you can count from 1 to 5 syllables just by doing the ziplets technique. Now, somebody asked me a question about the word fire. Fire either has a 1 syllable or 2, depending on your accent. So a lot of people go fire. Yep. And that fits the pattern of the I being the syllable and the final silent E indicating nothing. However, there are lots of people who say fire. Yep. Fire. In which case their accent shows that I-R-E is pronounced aya. But that's not all accents. So again, if that's how your accent does it, awesome. Learn that. Learn it with tire and gosh, we've got lots. Hire and mire and wire. They all belong to the same family. And then you can expand that out to desire, umpire, and so on. So you've got lots and lots of good words that you can make from that, whether you count it as 1 or 2 syllables. I do hope that that makes sense. All right, now, that's all we're going to do today. I want you to get, yes, Shire, nice one, Monica. I want you to get really good at counting syllables, because we're going to do heaps of that next week. But right now, it is question time. I think Edie and Amelia have already got to the front of the queue. If you have a question, put your hand up. Edie and Amelia, go, you're up.
So since my name is Edie, it has an E at the end. So is that E having an effect?
Well, here's the thing. You've always got to look, if you're looking at letters, you've always got to look at its neighbours. Now that E at the end of Edie, what's right next to it?
An I?
Yeah, so that IE is a digraph that signals the E sound on the end of Edie.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Excellent question. Hope the postie comes today. All right. And we've got Mitchell and Emily.
Okay. I was wondering, like, if you add a syllable onto, like, or a prefix onto something, will it make it become a 2-syllable word?
Of course, because all affixes, apart from S, yep, so all prefixes and suffixes contain a vowel. So if it contains a vowel, it's going to give you an extra syllable. There's a couple of exceptions, yeah? There is suffix S, so if I say dog, right? Oh yeah, by the way, these are my gym jams today. Forgot to tell everyone about my gym jams. So top dog, rainbow colored Peter Alexander, but they're much more interesting on the bottom. Look at those, waffle, polka dots, yeah. All right, anyway, back to this. So if you've got the word dog, right? And you put the suffix S on, meaning I've got more than one dog, dogs, that's not a syllable. There's no vowel there. Also, the suffix ed, sometimes the vowel represents a sound and sometimes it doesn't. So if I'm going to land my plane, yesterday my plane landed, yeah, new syllable. But if I skip, yesterday I skipped, not a new syllable. Yep. And there's a reason for that. We could do a whole lesson just on that. So most of the suffixes, if they have a vowel in them, so that is going to add a new syllable to the word. Brilliant question. You're a linguist. Amazing. All right.
We have a few questions in the chat.
Yes.
Want me to read them out?
Yes. Do you want to read them out in order?
Yeah. So I'm going from like all the numbers from people counting syllables. So, can you please show the first 3 screens for silent E before the end of the session?
Sure thing. Yeah, I'll share those 3 screens with you right now. Okay. Here they go. So just moving back. Oops. Oh no, I'm giving you the answers to. There we go. So final silent E makes a vowel say its name, even if it has to jump over a consonant to do it. So that's the first and most simple final silent E job that most people are used to. Then we've got job 2, which is making G say J and C say S at the end of words. And then we've got job 3, preventing illegal letters from being, the note, doing 2 jobs at the same time. And then we've got job 3, preventing illegal letters from being at the end of words. So final silent E, job 3, stops words from ending with illegal letters. I'll put those jobs up as a PDF on my site as well. I've got a couple of things to do after this, and then I'll get onto that. All right. More questions, Bubby?
When you are looking at families of words, roughly what is the guide number for a small, large, or rare family? Example, looking at the do family or mother family.
So I like to compare the family that ends with this stable base. I'm not going to call it a suffix. It's a stable ending, in that you see this bunch of letters at the end of lots of words. The suffix is actually "un." Yep. But the TI indicates sh, shun. Yep. 3,700 words in English. That's a big group. Whereas we looked at words ending in EY yesterday, that's 255. So that's kind of the scale, right? 255, still, still quite a nice large group. Would, could, should, OULD words where you've got this ud pronunciation, 3. It's a really small group. So we've got, below 100, 100 onwards. And Bubby, are you keeping an eye on videos?
Oh, no, sorry.
I'm
looking at chat.
Okay. 100 onwards is a sort of medium-sized group. And then when you get into the thousands, you've got a massive group. But more words tells you all that. It counts it for you. So there we go. Now, also somebody said, what about fairy? And I'm not sure what that means. I would love you to clarify your question, because it sounds like a brilliant question. So I'd like some more information from William Wotherspoon. I hope I pronounced your name right.
I keep reading out the questions because I know what we're up to.
Oh, okay. But you missed what about fairy?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. All right. So I hope that answers your question, Annabelle. And Joshua, I'm not sure what you don't get. You can clarify that if you like as well. No problem at all. If you put your hand up. Now, Stacey also has a question.
Yep.
And I'm going to answer Ethan and Liliana first. Why does hi have an illegal letter? Well, hi is an abbreviation. It's a shortened version of hello. And it's also slang. So abbreviations and slang often overlap. That's why it has an illegal letter. Stacey, you're up.
You haven't showed us the homework.
Yes, I know. I'm about to. There's something that I want you guys to do this weekend, apart from practice all the words that you've been writing down this week, which I hope you have been doing. Good question. I will get onto that in just a second because it's nearly time to go. Sonia says, what does the day Friday come from? Sorry, today is Frigga's day. Frigga is Odin's wife, and her name was Frigga. So this is Frigga's day, Friday. And I like to say, I see my friends on Friday. They both start with FRI, which helps with both of those words, with the spelling of both of those words. We printed off the sheets in the email you mentioned, but what do we do with them? They're for Monday. So prepare, have them there. What do we write down? Well, today there wasn't a lot of writing, but during this week, we've written examples of the words of the rules that we were talking about. F, a legal letter, and are there more illegal letters? Oh, no, F is not an illegal letter. You can see that at the end of lots of words, and it doesn't have to have an E to finish it off. There are 5 main illegal letters, words that we tend not to have at the end of English words. That's I, J, Q, U, and B.
My name is Isla. Can you explain why I have a silent S?
Well, I think that's up to you to explain, Isla. But there's an island off the coast of Scotland called Islay, spelled I-S-L-A-Y, and I do believe it means island. And so that S in island has disappeared out of our pronunciation, but it has the same root as isolate. And we hear the S in isolate because it's all from the same Latin word meaning alone or own or only. Hope that answers your question. What's the maximum number of syllables you can have in a word?
No, you missed one.
There isn't a maximum, but we tend to break words up, unlike in German. German will just put lots and lots and lots of syllables together to create new words. English doesn't do that. English tends to break words up and not make massive compound words. So there's no particular limit, but once you get up to 5, you're getting, sort of beyond what normal conversation, the words in normal conversation, if that makes sense. I missed something, yes.
Yeah. How many syllables in fairy?
Oh, how many syllables? Well, you tell me. Fairy, let's say it out loud, everyone. Fairy. For me, it's 2. Did you have a different answer to how many syllables in fairy? All right. Got it, William. Thank you. I hope that works for you. All right. What's the maximum number of syllables you can have? I think that might be it. So here comes.
Is V an illegal letter?
Yes, V is an illegal letter. You have to have an E after it. Word finally at the end of a word. And names don't follow the rules. You're right, Monica. Okay, everyone. I better tell you about the competition. Now, I'm calling it a competition, but look, the quality of the entries of the last competition were so high, and I like you all so much that I actually can't choose. I feel terrible just picking one person. I just can't do it. And so rather than a competition, what we're going to have is a bit of a collaboration. What I want to do is Imogen is going to produce an animated gallery of people doing their Spelling for Life lessons. People have already been sending me some outstanding pictures of them writing their words with their dogs sometimes. I've seen some amazing pictures, and what I want to do is put it all together in a gallery with a bit of background music, and then I want to put that on the website and on social media to encourage other children to come and join us from around the world. So what I want today, if possible, so Imogen can start working on it this weekend, is photos of you at work, you doing Spelling for Life. You can be in your gym jams, you can not be in your gym jams, it's up to you. But what I need, the one thing that I do need, is for your parents to say that it's okay for me to use any of the pictures. So I won't be able to put them in the gallery unless I have written permission from your mum, dad, carer, whoever it is that's in charge, that I'm able to use them. We'll produce this video, and then we will send you the link of this wonderful video of us all collaborating on Spelling for Life. So I hope you can join in. I hope you can send us some great footage of the wonderful things that you're doing.
And we need it by 5 p.m.
Imogen's asking if we could have them by 5 p.m. today, then she can start working on them. Here is the email address. Imogen, do you want to type it in? You've got to send it to Imogen because she's got Adobe on her computer. So she's the one that's going to be doing this. Here comes the email address, and I'll put that on the website as well. All right. And Julia, can we have a session at 11 o'clock, please? Lynn? Yes, I'm going to keep the webinars next week to 11 o'clock. I said 2, but was marked wrong in my homework. How interesting, William. I wonder on what basis you were marked wrong. What did the teacher say? Did they say it's more than 2 syllables or less than 2 syllables? Really interesting, because vary 2 impulses of the voice, I think, in most accents. Weird. Please tell me what that was. All right. Did everybody get imogencotty72@gmail.com? Yes, Joshua, thank you so much for the time reminder. It is 11:35, it's 11:36 now. You're free to go anytime. All right. So we give consent for any of our Twitter. Oh, thank you, Mary. I was hoping you'd say that. Okay. So I think it's now time for everybody to say goodbye. So we're going to start unmuting your mics. I can hear you. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I can't do that with my hand. Faces.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. See you next week. Send me your photos. Send images of your photos. I'm going to end it now.
Bye, everyone. Bye.